Ever watched your trading account melt down faster than ice cream in summer? One moment you're riding high, the next you're staring at catastrophic losses wondering where it all went wrong. This nightmare scenario is exactly why smart traders are now using automated risk controls to save themselves from their own emotions. Tradovate just dropped a game-changing risk settings feature that acts like a financial bodyguard for your account. Think of it as an emergency brake that kicks in before small setbacks become account-ending disasters. This isn't just another trading tool. It's your safety net when emotions take over and logic goes out the window. The new Risk Settings panel lets you establish daily and weekly loss limits that automatically protect your capital. When you hit your predetermined threshold, the system steps in and prevents further damage. No more revenge trading, no more chasing losses, no more sleepless nights wondering if you'll have anything left tomorrow. Here's exactly how to access and configure these settings to transform your trading from emotional gambling into disciplined wealth building. And trust me, you're going to want to stick around until the very end because I've got a bonus tip waiting for you. It's the kind of insight that could completely change the way you manage risk, and it's guaranteed to level up your trading game in a single move. Go ahead and log into your Tradovate account. On the right side of the screen, you'll see a blue icon. That's the shortcut to Risk Settings. This feature used to be buried inside the application menu, and most traders never even realized it was there. Risk Settings in Tradovate let you create guardrails for your trading. You can set up daily and weekly profit targets, loss limits, and even tailor restrictions for each of your accounts, live or demo. Here's how it works. Once you configure your parameters, Tradovate tracks your net profit and loss in real time, including fees and commissions. You can decide on daily or weekly thresholds, and as soon as one of those levels is hit, Tradovate steps in automatically. The platform will close any open positions, cancel your working orders, and lock your account from placing new trades until the next trading session begins. Daily limits reset at the start of the following session, and weekly limits reset with the start of the new trading week. This way, you don't have to rely on willpower alone. Your account is protected by the rules you've set. Let's set up an example. For the daily loss limit, we'll enter $250. For the daily profit trigger, we'll set it at $500. Once those numbers are in, click Save. You'll get a confirmation that says your account risk settings have been updated successfully. After that, just close the window by clicking the X in the upper right corner. Now you're right back to your trading screen, ready to see how those limits work in action. We've got our ATM settings in place with a 50-tick stop, which lines up with the daily loss limit we set earlier at $250. That way, even if this trade goes against us, the stop alone would max out the risk we're willing to take on the day. Looking at the chart, we've already seen a strong move to the downside. So instead of chasing long setups, we're going to lean into that momentum and take a short position here. Now here's where the risk settings come in. If the trade keeps moving against us and pushes our account into that $250 loss zone, Tradovate should step in automatically, liquidating the position, canceling any working orders, and locking us out from placing new trades until the session resets. So in this setup, we're not just testing the market, we're also testing whether those risk parameters do their job. We just got liquidated, and notice how the system closed us out before our stop was even hit. That's the risk settings doing their job. When we check the account, we can see we're down the full $250, which was the daily loss limit we set. Now, if we try to take another short position right away, the platform rejects the order. That's because we're locked out after hitting our limit. But here's something important to understand. You can override it. If we go back into the settings and change the daily loss limit to, say, $500, then hit Save, the account unlocks. At that point, we can go short again without issue. So while the system does enforce the parameters you set, it doesn't permanently lock you out. If you decide to adjust your limits mid-session, you can effectively put yourself right back into the market. That means if you're someone who tends to tilt and chase losses, this feature isn't going to save you. You'll just override it. But if you're the type of trader who simply needs a little structure to stay disciplined, this tool can really help. Instead of constantly checking your P&L and second-guessing yourself, the system enforces the limits you've set and takes that decision out of your hands. Now let's watch it in action again. Once our loss hits $250, the platform locks us out. There it is, another liquidation. Since we bumped the daily limit up to $500, that's now our threshold, and sure enough, it kicks in right on cue. So in terms of functionality, it works really well, and that's encouraging to see. Remember that bonus tip I promised? Well, here it is. This is where we take everything we've covered and push it to the next level. Now here's where we can get a little creative. We're going to use the risk management feature as a workaround for copy trading. Tradovate doesn't support full copy trading. It only offers group trading, and the problem with group trading is that it doesn't activate your ATM brackets. So instead, we can lean on the risk settings to manage multiple accounts at once. Let me show you how this works. We'll start by setting up two accounts. On the first account, let's configure a win-or-loss limit of $250. This one is account 91. On the second account, we'll set a different amount so we can see how the system handles it when accounts have different risk parameters. Now with accounts 91 and 95 ready, let's link them into a group and test how the risk settings kick in across multiple accounts. To set up a group, start by clicking the account dropdown at the top of the Tradovate display and selecting Manage Groups. This opens the group editor, where you can create new groups, manage existing ones, or remove groups you don't need. To create a new group, click the plus button and give it a name. We'll call this one Test. Once the group is named, you can add accounts by dragging them from the Available Accounts list on the left into the Added Accounts list on the right. For this example, we'll add accounts 91 and 95 to the group. To show how risk settings handle different allocations, we'll give account 95 2 contracts while leaving account 91 at 1. Click OK and you'll see a confirmation message. To activate the group, open the account dropdown at the top of the screen and select the custom group you just created. In our case, we named it Test, so you'll see that name appear under the account area once it's active. One important thing to check: make sure the account you're trading from is actually part of the group. If it isn't, the orders won't route correctly. Next, we need to adjust the contract size. Since account 91 is set to 1 contract and account 95 is set to 2 contracts, the total order size should be 3 contracts. And remember, you'll need to turn off brackets because they don't work with group trades. The risk management settings will take over as your safety net instead. Now let's place a market order to get into the trade. If you'd like to use stop orders, you'll need to set them manually since the ATM is turned off. Just keep in mind, those stops are completely optional, so it's your call whether to add that extra layer of protection. To keep this demo moving, I'll add to the trade, then layer in a few more stops so you can see how everything plays out. And remember how we set up risk management across 2 accounts? These manual stops only apply to the account we're currently viewing. The point I want to make here is that you can go pretty heavy in a trade and still lean on the risk settings to protect you. In this case, the system took me out automatically, and that's exactly what it's supposed to do. Notice that my other trade was still running, even though this one got closed. That's a good sign. It means the feature is working the way you'd want, shutting down one account when the limit is hit, while letting other accounts keep going until they hit theirs. For traders who tend to oversize or rack up big losses in a single day, this is a great safeguard. The flip side, of course, is that it's easy to bypass. You can just go back into the settings, raise your limits, say from $750 to $1,000, and keep trading. That's where discipline comes in. If you treat the limit as final, it works as a strong safety net. If you treat it as flexible, it won't help much. A good approach is to think of it as a daily circuit breaker. When you hit your loss limit, step away, reset, and then if you want, come back later and add a little more risk in controlled increments. It also helps in chop zones where you're tempted to oversize. Hitting your limit forces you out before you dig a deeper hole. Another nice benefit is flexibility. You can set up different risk management styles for different accounts. For example, maybe one account is capped at $750, while another is set at $1,000. In your group settings, you can then assign different contract sizes, one trading a single contract, the other trading 2, and customize each account to fit your overall plan. So from that perspective, it's a powerful tool. It gives you structure, forces discipline, and still lets you tailor risk to the way you trade. If you're serious about taking your risk management to the next level, don't stop here. Click the video on your screen right now and discover why Legends Straight to Funded might be the most powerful straight to funded program yet. And when you're ready to dive in, use code FFF to lock in the best discount available.